Welcome to The Explainer. So look, if you've been eyeing the 2026 to 2030 job market with, well, a little bit of anxiety, you are definitely not alone. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with these dramatic headlines, right? Automation, shifting industries, crazy rapid tech changes. It can feel like a lot. But today, we're going to cut right through all that fear and noise. We're going to build a highly actionable roadmap for how you can use AI to not just survive the coming years, but absolutely thrive in them.
Okay, let's just dive right into it and ask the massive elephant in the room question that's on everyone's mind before they even clock in tomorrow. Is your role safe from the algorithm? To find the real answer, we have to look past the hype and look closely at what business leaders are actually doing behind closed doors right now.
I want you to really let this number sink in for a second. 47%. That's nearly half. Nearly half of all companies surveyed in a recent poll of U.S. business leaders expect to completely eliminate their entry-level hiring by 2027, all because of AI. Actually, scratch that, it's already happening. 21% of companies have already frozen entry-level hiring for roles like data processing and junior admin work. This isn't some sci-fi future prediction, it's happening right now, and it really highlights the massive urgency of the shift we're facing.
Which brings us to what experts are officially calling the AI office invasion. For decades, we all kind of thought automation was coming primarily for the factory floor, right? But today, the disruption is happening directly in the cubicle. The algorithm is rapidly targeting those repetitive, information-based, highly rule-bound office tasks.
And listen, if you're sitting there thinking, well, that just applies to junior data entry clerks, think again. Microsoft's AI CEO recently dropped a bomb, noting that lawyers, accountants, and paralegals are particularly at risk. Yeah, we are talking about highly paid, heavily credentialed professions here, because AI absolutely excels at number crunching, document analysis, and legal research. Even these incredibly prestigious roles are remarkably exposed to automation.
When we actually map out the most exposed roles across the board, a really clear pattern jumps out. We're looking at customer support, data entry, basic content writing, junior computer programming, and basic financial analysis. Why these specific jobs? Well, it's because their daily tasks are highly predictable, they're script-based. Investor Piers Linney actually predicts that call centers are going to be almost entirely automated within just 5 years. And economists at Anthropic, they put data entry and routine computer programming right at the absolute top of the exposure list.
But hey, let's all take a breath, okay? Because we really need to look at AI as basically a highly advanced new calculator. The disruption is focused on automating specific routine tasks, not wiping out entire jobs overnight. Take computer programming, for example. Right now, AI tools can generate large chunks of code, automating roughly 33% of routine development tasks. But you know what? That leaves a massive 67% slice of the pie that is completely human-led. The stuff requiring complex, strategic, and deeply creative problem-solving.
So if routine office work is in the crosshairs, where exactly are the safe zones? The whole narrative flips completely upside down when we look at the resilient career paths of the future. The data points incredibly clearly to roles that demand physical skill, high human trust, and real-time, on-the-fly judgment.
We're looking at a pretty stark dichotomy in the modern job market. On one side, you have these highly exposed white-collar office roles, basically anything involving routine data processing and information retrieval. On the other side, you've got protected manual and physical trade jobs. These roles demand physical presence in totally unpredictable environments, which makes them incredibly difficult and wildly expensive to standardize or automate with robots.
Let's break this down because the why here is fascinating. The resilience of these roles really comes down to human nuance. Take emergency medical technicians. They sit at an unbelievably low 7% automation risk. Why? Because their job requires intense, real-time situational awareness and life-saving decisions under crazy pressure. Registered nurses, sitting at 15%, combine deep clinical knowledge with nuanced, irreplaceable emotional intelligence and adaptability. And then you have skilled trades like plumbers at 21%, whose daily reality involves hands-on, physical problem-solving in totally varied, unscripted conditions.
To put it as simply as possible, a machine literally cannot replicate a nurse's deep empathy when they're holding a terrified patient's hand. Just like a robot isn't going to easily figure out how to navigate the completely unpredictable, messy environment of a flooded basement at 2 in the morning. Human-centric, high-trust, and physical roles remain very, very securely in human hands.
And this right here, this brings us to the absolute biggest opportunity of this entire explainer. We are pivoting from fearing AI to learning exactly how to leverage it so you can become undeniably relevant in your field. The future is all about evolution, not extinction, folks. It is all about the augmented worker advantage. The golden rule, the crucial takeaway is this: AI-powered people replace non-AI people. Boom. That is the defining paradigm shift of the modern workforce. The biggest trend of the future isn't that AI is going to replace everyone. No way. It's that the professional who learns to effectively use AI tools will completely dominate their industry and replace the professional who just stubbornly refuses to adapt.
Think about what this actually means for your daily workflow. An AI-assisted worker who successfully hands off those boring, routine manual tasks to the algorithm can double or even 10x their productivity. Imagine doing the work of 10 people, simply because you've automated your scheduling, your basic reporting, and your data entry. That leaves you completely freed up to focus on high-level creative strategy and deep human interaction. It's a total game changer.
And because of this massive boost in productivity, the World Economic Forum estimates that, sure, while some roles will naturally be displaced, 69 million entirely new roles are going to be created. 69 million! The evolving economy holds unbelievable opportunities, especially in green energy, data science, and of course, AI integration, for those who are ready and willing to adapt.
All right, let's get super practical. This brings us to your ultimate career survival roadmap for 2026 to 2030. What exactly do you need to do tomorrow to reskill and stay relevant?
Well, before we hit the steps, you got to wrap your head around this. 40% of all workers will need to reskill due to AI adoption. 40%. That is almost half the global workforce. So this isn't just a fun suggestion for tech nerds. Making this transition is absolutely mandatory.
So here is your clear-cut blueprint. First up, you do not need to become a master programmer, but you absolutely must learn to use AI tools as a sort of collaborative assistant in your specific field. Treat it like a super smart intern. Second, double down on your humanity. Elevate those uniquely human skills. We're talking emotional intelligence, leadership, negotiation, and sales. AI simply cannot fake genuine human trust. And finally, shift your daily energy away from routine, box-checking tasks and push it toward deep, strategic thinking and originality. AI can imitate, sure, but truly original human creativity, that is still your absolute greatest asset.
I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over. How will you adapt your skill set tomorrow? Look, the job market is shifting fast, but you now have the blueprint in your hands. Do not wait for the algorithm to catch up to your current routine. Step into the role of the augmented worker, lean hard into your human strengths, and start building your undeniable future today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and honestly, I cannot wait to see how you leverage these insights out there in the real world.